So let's get to a couple of the questions, guys. I had several come in. I've been watching my text and email, and also got an eye on the chat. So we'll start with a couple of these that came in by text. What are your opinions on special programming around Christmas? Like, for example, doing the NORAD tracking Santa, for example.
I mean, again, I think as long as it's purposeful and strategic, and there's a reason why you're doing it, it's promotable, it's marketable. I'm fine with some of that stuff.
Absolutely.
I love it. I think it really enhances, and the more you're into Christmas, the more effective that will be. If you're all in with all Christmas music, you need special programming because it's promotable, it's appointment setting, and there's some really cool things that you can do. A couple of them, for example, the NORAD Track Santa. If you go to NORAD, do a Google search for NORAD, and they have a imaginary Santa tracker that goes up on their site, and it's really robust. There's some really cool things that you can do with that. You can embed it on your site, and you can take some of the content they're having and do updated reports. One of my favorite features, and this is a story I'll tell you, it's the Santa Show, where if you have a personality who's good at doing this and can get into a Santa character, do a Santa Show. The station that I worked with in Halifax, Nova Scotia, had an AC station, and every night at 6 o'clock, the morning co-host on the show came in and did a show live for an hour, taking calls from parents and kids about what those kids want for Christmas. And it was fantastic because 6 o'clock at night in the winter is a dead zone for AC stations. Everybody tunes out. Night listening is really low, but now you've got something promotable, and you've got Santa as an air personality. And this guy got into it so much, he came in early every night, brought in his thermos of hot chocolate, put on a full-blown Santa costume, because he said, in order to be like Santa, I have to feel like Santa. And so he got into the Santa costume every night for a month. They started right after American Thanksgiving and went right up to Christmas with it every night for an hour. Now, some shows don't do it every day. You might do it on a morning show once a week on a Friday morning for an hour. You might do it just Christmas week for 15 or 20 minutes a day leading up to Christmas Day. But the Santa Show can be really, really effective.
Another idea is Need a Little Christmas, which is great. That's where you take a quarter hour, and this is for stations obviously not going all Christmas, but you take a quarter hour because everybody needs a little Christmas, and you particularly morning show, you take that with 15 minutes of Christmas music, Christmas content, Christmas features, and it's really a special way to treat a feater.
Yeah, you wrap that up and promote it as We Need a Little Christmas, and that's this morning at 8:15, and do it for 15 minutes. It's terrific. And as you get closer to Christmas, do it twice a morning, and then do it every hour for 15 minutes. And Christmas week, you might spread it out and do it for 20 minutes or 30 minutes every hour. All specialty programming at Christmas absolutely works. And I noticed in the chat, Kevin says, what about specialty programming? In past years, we have flipped our flashback lunch to a holiday lunch rather than all or heavy Christmas on weekdays. And I think that's really valid. That's a really good idea, because you can be that's what we mean by being kind of Christmas. There's a station in San Diego here for years that didn't go all Christmas, but come Thanksgiving weekend, they would go all Christmas, all weekend on Thanksgiving weekend. And then after that, they stayed all Christmas after 6 o'clock at night and all weekends. And then they played 3 or 4 Christmas songs during each hour of regular programming. And that was enough for them to be the Christmas station at the time. Mm-hmm. So the more you can do things like that, whether it's Need a Little Christmas, there's a good chance that you could be the Christmas station without going all the way, especially if you're in a smaller or medium market and nobody's going to go all Christmas. This key allows you to stay in format, but still own the position for that.
Yeah, all Christmas nights is a great way to do that, like you said.
Yeah, at night, because what do you got to lose? Exactly. It's risk reward. Take a look at your cume and your time spent listening after 7 o'clock at night compared to what you have 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and you're going to wonder why you don't experiment more at night already. Next question is, it doesn't seem worth it to flip to all Christmas because the ratings just go back to where they were before. What are your thoughts on that? Well, we touched on that a little bit. We talked about you're going to get a big fall and a big holiday book. You're going to get a big cume coming in. As Christmas gets closer, that time spent listening is going to increase. And you're even going to start getting some P1 listeners in both the fall and holiday book that may never listen to your radio station any other time. So there are some absolutely positive ratings impact. And if you think about it, it's kind of like having a short-term promotion. You do a big cash contest or a big cash promotion, you're going to attract new listeners coming to the station who may only be there for the contest and the promotion. So think of Christmas as kind of being the same thing in a way.
Right. And we've also talked about the leaky bucket idea that, that we're constantly losing audience. We need to replenish that. The fact is, you're probably not going to take a country P1, go all Christmas, and make them a new AC P1 in the next year. But you could have a regular humor, in that P2 category or P3 category that's going to give you some quarter hours in the coming year. So there is some benefit there. You're not going to change a hardcore listener, a formatic music preference normally, but you are going to get some more P2, P3 cume in there that will help you.
And there are people that cross genres, obviously. So that's why I'm saying, like, I'm a little stubborn in that I always think we can keep some of these people. We shouldn't just discount that we're going to lose 100% of them when we go back to the other format.
Yeah, a lot of it might be they're attracted because their friend told them you need to listen to the Christmas station, and they get there and didn't know your station existed or what format you were. They may discover that oldies format for the first time and be excited by it. There's also a revenue aspect to this, especially for the stations who have gone all Christmas and have a history for doing so and a track record for ratings. And if you start early enough in marketing and promoting it to advertisers, and some of these stations will start in July and August in pre-selling the fall, November and December programming, and they're now promising ratings, much like television stations promise ratings, and they charge them for the ratings that they expect, and then they reimburse them if they fall short of that. So there are some really significant revenue opportunities that go beyond sponsorship for stations that become all Christmas. And that's another reason to start earlier. If you start in November and you can sell Christmas rates at a 50% premium to what you get in your regular rate, that's 60 days. That's a pretty significant chunk of the calendar where you're having a revenue impact.
And if you wait till December, that money's gone.
Yeah.
Most of it.
Yeah. Next question is, if you were not an AC or a CCM, a contemporary Christian station, would you consider flipping to Christmas? We talked about that a little bit, but let's talk a little bit more about situations where if you're not in a traditional brand value format, like contemporary Christian, AC, maybe hot AC, classic hits, Andy's an example of oldies, jazz, some of these types of formats that are particularly conducive for it, and you're not in that format, what are the situations where you would consider making the flip?
No one in your market is all Christmas.
Yeah,
right.
It is the big component. But other than that, I think other than maybe some active rock, or which there are less and less of those now anyway, other than active rock, I think any format can do it if no one's doing Christmas in your market, especially if you're thinking about tweaking anything.
Well, that's it. I think if you're going to use it to leverage that cume influx to expose, a new change, a freshening, a new approach. If you don't have a lot to lose as in terms of your position going into Christmas, I think it makes sense. I think it's a case by case basis, and it's back to being strategic about it rather than just saying, well, maybe we'll try to go all Christmas. There's got to be a reason, behind why you're doing it.
Yeah. So I got a couple of factors that go into it. If you have big personalities, if you've got a big morning show with a big footprint that can hold the audience, I would be much more comfortable with a with any format going in, because they're there for the morning show. And so it doesn't matter what music you play, they're going to listen. So you can flip to Christmas safely with that. Also, big personalities can help endorse the Christmas format. The other, we talked about it, kind of the format Hail Mary. We've got nothing to lose. We're going to blow the whole thing up. There's no equity in this brand in January. So let's do something to get some attention and use it as a stunt. If, as Andy mentioned, if nobody else in town is doing it, why not? Take a shot, give it some consideration. And one other situation I've recommended that is, if you're a distant second in a direct format battle, let's say you're a hot AC station and you are just getting your butt kicked by the dominant hot AC station, and you aren't where you want to be, but you're not blowing up the format. Why not do something to get some attention for it?
Mm-hmm.
So that
maybe that's a way to reassess and blend whether you're going to be a hot AC with a couple more throwbacks or something on the backside of that.
Yep. Okay, let's look at a couple of the questions that came in the chat. To Chuck Taylor, hey, thanks for coming in, Chuck. He says, what about in a niche format? In his market in Texas, they play Texas Americana music instead of mainstream country, and the audience tends to get annoyed when we play too much Christmas music. And Andy Meadows can speak to this because he programmed a lot of those stations and lives right down there, right in the heart of Texas.
Well, and I still have a station that does that in Lubbock, Texas. I would never go all Christmas on that particular format, or the one Chuck's talking about. I certainly wouldn't go all Christmas on it. But I don't think there's, and I know you're going to get pushback, but I don't think there's harm in throwing in some Christmas music even on that format.
Okay. Specialty program, that we answered that from Kevin. Andrew says, I do afternoons for an all Christmas station. Do you think all my breaks should be Christmas focused as well? Great question. What do you think, guys?
I don't think
much.
Well, yeah, I disagree. I don't think they all have to be Christmas, as long as, like you're saying, the lifestyle fits. It kind of depends what you mean by all Christmas. Are you talking about something just Christmas related every single time? Or are you talking about the things that people are thinking about more this time of year than other times a year? Then that would be every break. Is that confusing the way I said that?
No, I think I
understand. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I mean, I think that it's got to be compatible. It's got to be referencing the season or what people are doing, lifestyle, that sort of thing. I think otherwise, if you're just off doing random content, I think it actually detracts from the whole notion of going all Christmas.
I would err on the side of being all Christmas. Because, I mean, if your station is all Christmas and you're doing a big Christmas promotion or promotions, and the imaging is all Christmas, and you're on talking about whatever that isn't related to Christmas, then you're out of format at that time of year. And it's such an opportunity to make that big impact and a big footprint with what the brand is doing overall, and a chance for you as a personality to stand out because you're demonstrating that you love the same things that the listener is coming to the station for at that time of year. It's a chance to advance your character, your personality presence, and to honor the mood service that the audience is coming in for. So I agree that you don't have to be 100% all, what do you want for Christmas this year? But there's so many topics that are Christmas-y, or in talking about the office parties that are coming up before Christmas. What did you want for Christmas when you were a kid that you never got? Who's done their Christmas shopping by now? And as you get toward Christmas, make it a little bit more Christmassy. But there's so many times. What's the right time of the year? What's the last date of the year that you can break up with someone before it's too late before Christmas? What's the drop dead date where you're stuck with them? Or are you sticking with someone during the holidays because you want a gift from them? You can do that a little bit further out. And it's content that you would normally be doing anyway, but you wrap it in a Christmas box. think of it like if you're buying a gift for someone for their birthday, you would wrap it in a birthday gift. If you're giving them the same gift for them at Christmas, you would wrap it in a Christmas package. So wrap whatever content you're doing in a Christmas package and make it work, because it will put a big exclamation point on your brand.
Same thing for your features and benchmarks, as opposed to blowing those off and just killing them. Do holiday versions of those same features and benchmarks, like you said.
Yep. And last question that I've got here, and if there's any more that are coming in the chat box, go ahead and send those now. It can be about Christmas, or it can be about anything regarding personality radio and programming. We're happy to answer those questions and stay on as long as the questions come in. But what are some promotions that you think are worth considering or doing to capture the audience's attention at Christmas?
I love that 12 acts of Christmas kindness that you suggested on a couple of the shows that I coach last year. They had a lot of fun with that. It worked really well. They even wanted to bring it back and do a version of it at different times of the year.
Yeah, there's that's
a great promotion if you're short-staffed or don't have a lot of resources, and because any station can do that. You just take a random act of kindness for 12 days in the 2 weeks leading up to Christmas. And the morning show goes out and does it, and then encourages the audience to be out doing the same thing or something similar that they're doing.
And it makes phenomenal social and web content too.
Right. There's some of the big ones that require a little effort and planning, and probably a little too late to try to throw those together this year. But things like the Christmas Wish, which are incredibly powerful, perennial promotion, Breaking and Entering, which was, as Tracy knows, was on his watch here at B100 in San Diego. There's even, for some of my edgier stations, I've got a classic rock station that is looking at doing Scared Straight by Santa. All these are in the ebook that just came out.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of good ideas in there, and also on insidersradionetwork.com you can get a ton of promotion ideas. If you're a subscriber, if you're not a member, it's easy to sign up. You can do it for just $1 for the first couple of weeks. And for content for personalities, personalitymagnet.com has a huge library of Christmas content, games, features, contests, and things like that. Last question, we'll wrap it. Kevin says, we have a AAA station, and we're planning on having local artists and bands come in and do a couple of holiday songs and play those back to underscore our support of the local music scene. I love that. Mm-hmm. That was such a great fit for a AAA station to be connected to local music, and having them do holiday songs puts that in context. What a great idea. What a great application of the resources.
And Chuck, you should steal that for your station, because that works on that Texas Red Dirt Americana format as well.
Yeah. I forget what market it was. It's an AC station that does a Christmas choir competition every year, which sounds really old. And it's like, why would I want to do that? That sounds so boring. But there's so many school programs that are being put together this time of the year, and churches that are getting together for their big events. And if you do a Christmas choir competition, you will get tremendous response to it. And they will tell all their friends about it to go on your website and vote for their choir. So it's a great way to expand what you're already doing. One more question came in. Our morning show is doing Christmas Wish already. It's a Christmas Wish style promotion. What would you recommend I do in the afternoons as a benchmark?
That's a good question.
Yeah, sorry. Christmas wish list in the morning.
Christmas Wish is going on with the morning show. So there's a couple of things that you can do. Number one,
that random acts of kindness would work.
Yeah. The random acts of kindness would work. If you are an animal lover, the 12 Strays of Christmas is a terrific promotion, and it gets you so you get dogs and cats adopted from the shelter, but you don't have to go on the air and talk about them a lot. All the details for that are up on Insiders. Another option is not do anything. Promote the Christmas wish.
Right.
Yeah, retell those stories in the afternoon. Cycle the audience back to the morning show. Leverage the strength and the attention that Christmas wish is getting, and reappropriate that attention in your personality in the afternoon. Another, depending, and Andrew, I don't know your show and I don't know how edgy you are, but Mike mentioned Scared Straight by Santa is fantastic. Scared Straight by Santa is where you get parents whose kids are a problem right now and they're having a hard time with them, and they tell you why, and you call the kids and as Santa and tell them that they are in danger of being put on the naughty list instead of the nice list, and get them to tell you what they're doing and promise they're going to straighten up and fly right. So there's all kinds of things that you can do in small. I wouldn't try to do something major though. If they're doing Christmas wish in the morning, I wouldn't do breaking and entering Christmas in the afternoon, because it just becomes competitive.
Could you do a variant on the Santa show? Like, say that guy doesn't work as a Santa, that afternoon guy. Could he do a variant on that where he's an honorary elf and he has Santa's ear? So as people call in, parents call in and let him know.
Or get somebody that you know who would be a good Santa and use them on the phone.
Yep. There you go.
Right.
So, hey, we've got a direct pipeline to Santa. And so you get kids to call in, get parents to call in, and do some things with that, or do some contests and games that represent it.